Hello, everyone. I hope and pray that you're doing well. In church, we've been looking at this book, Faith Practices. And on Sunday, we looked at the practice of generosity. You can see it over my shoulder there, and you can see I'm behind the communion table as we think about our generous God who bestows the gifts of bread and wine upon us as a symbol and a reminder of what he's done for us in Jesus Christ. One of my favorite Proverbs is Proverbs 11, verse 24, translated in the Message this way: "The world of the generous gets larger and larger. The world of the stingy gets smaller and smaller." I wonder if you remember the story of Ananias and Sapphira in the Bible, in Acts. Ananias sells this piece of land, and he secretly keeps back part of the price of the sale to himself. He keeps it back secretly, and then he brings the rest to the apostles as an offering. And Peter comes down hard on Ananias. I remember as a kid thinking this was pretty rough. But he doesn't come down so hard on Ananias because Ananias held back some of the real estate proceeds from the deacon's fund or whatever, right? The problem, as Peter sees it, is that Ananias let on like he was handing over the whole pile instead of only as much as he thought he wouldn't need himself. And then Peter says to him, "You have not lied to men, but to God." And underneath the undeniable truth of the charge, together with the unbearable shame of it, were more than Ananias could take, and he drops dead right then and there. His wife, Sapphira, had been in on this real estate scheme with him, and she turns up 3 hours later and finds out what had happened, and she drops dead too. And in some ways, that's stinginess at its core. And it's a form of robbing our generous God. Stinginess, one writer puts it, is like sawing off the branch you're sitting on. The better that you do it, the harder you fall. And all this to point us in the direction of the generosity of God. Just as we say, and I said it again this past Sunday, we love because God first loved us. We are also generous with others because first God has been so generous with us. I read somewhere that God loves a cheerful giver, but he'll also take money from a grouch. And sometimes, kind of behind that is sometimes we are called simply to obey. To do the right thing, even if we don't necessarily feel like it. And so even if we give as stingy, grouchy people, God is likely, over time, to help us in our obedience to become cheerful givers. The world of the generous gets larger and larger, and the world of the stingy gets smaller and smaller. May your world get larger and larger. The peace of Christ be with you all.